Hey everyone, it's Shirley with Unboxing a Brand and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to share with you what it was like to fly with a 9-month-old baby on United during COVID. So as we were getting ready for this trip, I did a lot of research, particularly on YouTube and watching a whole bunch of videos where moms share their experiences. So I thought that I would do a video like this as well so that I can help future moms and whoever's interested in stuff like this. Before becoming a mom, this is obviously something that I never thought about. So the thought of flying with a baby for the first time was really scary. The way I'm going to be doing this video is through a Q&A format. I found myself asking a whole bunch of questions before we left for our trip, and hopefully some of the things I'm going to be covering in this video will also help you. Let's get started. The first question I have is, did we book an extra seat? In the United States, for kids that are under 2, they can fly on your lap as a lap infant. So as long as they're under 2 and you're okay with that, you don't have to purchase a seat for them. But in our instance, because it was the first flight and it was cross country, so it was 5 to 6 hours one way, we decided to get an extra seat for the baby. Question number 2, did you request for an airplane bassinet? We did not request for it because A, our flight was not eligible for one of those things because we're flying domestic and not international. And then 2, even if we had one, Felix, our then 9-month-old, would have been way too big for the bassinet. He outgrew his own bassinet at home when he was about 5 or 6 months old. So the answer to that question is no. All right, next question. How was the ride to the airport? The ride to the airport was pretty good. Felix sat in the back seat with me and he wasn't very fussy. In order to try to save some money, we didn't park at the airport because it's really expensive parking at our airport. So we ended up booking an off-site parking lot. So my husband just dropped off all the luggages, dropped off the stroller, the car seat, and he went to go park, and he ended up taking like the shuttle back to the airport. So we just sat at the airport and waited for him. I thought that made more sense for us just because we don't know how the shuttle usually is, and I'm pretty sure you can't really fit a car seat onto the shuttle seats, and we just didn't want to deal with all that. So that's why we just decided to go straight to the airport and have my husband figure out the car situation. Next question. What sort of ID was needed for the baby? Did you have to bring vaccination records? No, on the vaccination records, we actually didn't really reach out to the pediatrician before flying out asking for that. We do have an ID for our baby, even though he's only 1 right now. We knew that we were going to be visiting our family overseas soon, so we applied for a passport. And when we did that, we also applied for what's called a passport ID, which allows you to use it to fly domestically. So we had that ID for the baby. That was all that was needed. They didn't really ask for anything else besides that ID. We didn't really have his birth certificate or anything like that, but I guess like a passport ID is better than a birth certificate. The next question is, how was it like getting through TSA? Because we had our stroller and our car seat with us and we gate checked the stroller, we had to go through security with both the stroller and the car seat and the base and whatever luggage that we had. I, for some reason, thought that you can just push the stroller through the metal detector, but that wasn't the case. You had to take everything out, you had to break down the stroller, everything had to go on the conveyor belt. Luckily for our flight, there weren't a lot of people at security checkpoint because you would hate to be the family that takes forever to like unpack everything and get everything through security checkpoint. So luckily there weren't many people and we kind of just took our time. Our stroller is part of a travel system and it's very easy to fold it up. You just pull this lever in the middle of the seat and it just like collapses. I ended up carrying Felix with me through the metal detector. We didn't really use any baby carrier or anything because he was already in a car seat, and yeah, that's how we got through TSA. What do we need on the plane and what do we pack? Since we bought that extra seat for him, we had a car seat and the base. That's something very important. You have to remember to bring the base with you because the base is where the airplane seatbelt loops through on the airplane in order for you to use your car seat. The flight attendant ended up giving us a seatbelt extender so that we can strap the car seat base onto the plane seat. Besides that, we also brought snacks. We brought a nursing cover. We brought diapers, sanitizing wipes, all the usual things that will go into a diaper bag. So United lets you take 2 baby-related items on the plane free of charge, and we ended up taking our stroller, which was gate checked. Gate checking our stroller was a really good idea because we did have to navigate through the airport to get to our gate, so having the stroller really helped. The car seat fits onto the stroller, and then so you just push him along in his car seat on the stroller through the airport and getting to the plane. We did end up ordering a stroller bag on Amazon to bring with us. I know that there are probably some airlines that will have these large plastic bags for you to put your stroller in. We didn't really want to risk it and rely on other people, so we brought our own bag, which was a really good idea. We just we got to the gate and then we just folded up the stroller, put it in the bag, which had our name on it, and then just handed it off to the staff. And then when we deplaned, we picked up the stroller at the gate as well. So how was Felix on the plane during takeoff and landing? landing. He did really well when I watched a lot of videos, and also when we were talking to our pediatrician. It was suggested that we either nurse him or we give him some fluids during takeoff and landing to help with his ears popping. So on our way to California, Felix fell asleep on the plane right away before takeoff. So I didn't obviously feed him or anything like that. He was asleep and he was fine. On our way back, he was awake, so I tried to give him some water, but he wasn't really that interested and he seemed to be okay. So I guess we lucked out on that one. Kids under 2 don't have to wear a mask. Adults had to wear masks on the plane, but the kid didn't. So the next question relates more to the trip itself. So this question is, what do we pack for the trip? The relatives that we were visiting in California didn't have any high chairs or like baby beds or anything baby related, so we basically had to bring everything on our own. I know that there are companies that also do rentals where you can rent things while you're visiting a different city. We decided not to do that because we were gone for 3 weeks and the cost of that just added up real quick, and we thought that it's just easier for us to bring everything. So we brought the car seat and base, which we used on the airplane. We brought a stroller, which was part of the whole travel system. We brought an Ergo Baby, which is the baby carrier. We also brought in Pack and Play, which our plan was to have Felix sleep in there. We brought a bumble seat in replacement of a high chair because our high chair really is not very portable, and it ended up working pretty well. We also brought our Toki mat because at 9 months, Felix really wasn't really standing. He was still kind of like crawling. We wanted something soft for him to move around in. We also brought our Auto-Roo, which is what we use for baths. It's this like floaty thing that goes around his neck. It sounds a little bit scary, but it's actually really fun for him and he really likes it. So we kind of used that for his bath time. We also brought a picnic blanket, knowing that the place we're staying at is across the street from a park, and we knew that we were going to be spending a lot of time outside. So we brought our own picnic blanket. This picnic blanket is from the California Beach Co. or something like that, and it's not really waterproof. We also brought a diaper changing setup system. It's kind of like a soft basket where we ended up putting the diaper, the wipes, and the powder, just because when you're changing a baby outside of a place that you're usually used to, like things can just scatter everywhere, and I just kind of wanted to keep everything contained because we didn't have a changing table. We sort of just changed them on the bed, on the floor, wherever. We also brought a bib for him, a spoon, his sippy cup. Obviously, we brought a whole bunch of clothes. I did bring the diaper bag with me on the plane. We didn't really use it too much during the trip. It was just more so that I can carry all the stuff onto the plane. We also brought some toiletries for him. So we had sunscreen, we had body wash and hair wash, had some baby Q-tips, and I think that was about it. And then the last thing we brought, I think, were Stokie cups, which we used during bath time. Okay, next question is, what didn't you pack that you wish you did? We used this Angel Care bath seat for Felix when we take a bath. I knew I should have brought it. I was like punching myself for not bringing it, because when we bathe him in the bathtub, he would be sitting up in the water, but then without this seat, he wouldn't like really recline like this. And then washing his hair was just really messy, and we ended up getting soap and water in his eyes, and he was really upset, and it was just very difficult. So I knew that I wanted to bring it, we just didn't have enough space. So Angel Care bath seat is something I would highly recommend, or just bring whatever you're used to using and try to squeeze it into your suitcase, because trying to bathe your baby in a new location is a little bit of a headache. So the next item that I wish I brought that I didn't was infant Tylenol or teething tablets and a thermometer. Infant Tylenol is not something we usually give to Felix, but during one of our nights there, he had a slight fever. Because we didn't really have a thermometer, I couldn't really measure his temperature, but I could feel that his head was hotter than mine, and he was being really, really fussy, and he was tossing and turning all night, and he wouldn't sleep. We really haven't given him Tylenol before, but that night, nobody was sleeping. He was not sleeping, we were not sleeping. He was just like feeling really groggy and really uncomfortable. We ended up buying some Tylenol at a Walgreens out there, and we gave him a little bit, like I think for one night. The next night we switched to these like homeopathic teething tablets, and those seemed to help. So we stopped giving him Tylenol just because I tried to not give my baby too much medicine. So yeah, the teething tablets worked for us. Do what works for you. And then heavier clothing is something that I wish I had brought. Since we were going out to California, I for some reason thought that California was just going to be nice and warm all the time, but we were going to Northern California, and I should have known. I should have brought heavier clothing. I didn't have enough jackets for everybody. That's including all the adults too. So yeah, just I guess always try to be prepared and pack extra. And then the last question I have on here is, what are some tips for new parents who are looking to travel? I guess it's just like, don't stress out too much, try to relax. The moment we got on a plane, I heard that there were so many babies and kids around us that it just kind of like calmed me down, knowing that we were not the only parents there. There are a lot of people on the plane that are going through the same thing as you. It's already a pretty stressful situation, so don't put more stress on yourself, try to relax. And I was really afraid of Felix being really, really loud and crying the whole time on the plane. I don't know why I thought that way. He usually is a pretty good baby and he doesn't really cry that much at all. I don't know, I just had this like fear in me that he was gonna do that. But once you get on the plane, there's so much white noise on the plane itself. Even like a small cry doesn't really sound that bad. And then I guess my next tip is to pack early and make sure you have everything that you think you might need and leave and arrive early, which is sort of like a given, right? But that's something that we really need to work on. We did leave really, really early just in case something happened. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it helpful and that you learned something new. If you have any additional questions you'd like to ask me about my trip that I didn't cover during the video, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. If you have any other tips that you would like to leave new parents, feel free to leave it down below as well. Again, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.